Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm giving you my monthly review for May 2021, and I'm going to talk about all the games that I played in the month. Some were new, some were old, some were online, some were on the table. So if you're curious to see what I played in May, stay tuned. So in May 2021, I was able to play 54 games or 54 game plays of 19 different games, 6 of which were new to me. And I played 6 of them online and the rest actually on the table. So I'm going to start with the games that I played online, and I'm going to go through all 3 of the collections, the online, the old games, and the new games to me in order of how many gameplays. So first online, there was one game I only played once online, and it is Bantam West. Now, this game isn't actually available yet. It's coming up on Kickstarter July 9th. But I was able to play on Tabletopia with the creator Ike Brunicardi, and I am very excited about this sandbox Western themed game. The playthrough that we had was incredibly fun. We played 4-player. It didn't have all of the elements of the game in place yet on the Tabletopia version, but even what they had in place was just great, and Ike was wonderful in terms of taking our feedback and thinking about how he can continue to make this game better. It is my most anticipated Kickstarter project coming up in the coming months. I have been talking about it for a few months, but now that I've played it, I'm even more excited. So stay tuned. I'll be doing my crowdfunding update video here in the next couple days, and I'll show you some images and talk about that in a little bit more detail. But I played that one time online and was excellent. The next game that I played online, and I'll show you the box because I do have this game, but Scythe I played on Steam 3 times. And one thing about Scythe is it's an incredible game, and it's gorgeous. The components are amazing, but it does take a little while to get it all out of the box and get it set up and then clean it up when you're done. And that's the one thing I find more and more myself playing it on Steam more regularly, just because start the program, run it, and I end up playing this game solo a lot more. So it's really easy. I played it 3 times on Steam. I will say, though, that I recently picked up the Rise of Fenris expansion, and I'm hoping to play that over the summer. So Scythe was one that I played online. The next one that I played online is Dominion, and I have a lot of Dominion in my collection. Here's Prosperity, one of my favorite expansions. Played Dominion 3 times, and I'll put the link down below, but it's just one of those online emulators that is available for Dominion, and it has quite a few of the different expansions available, and you just play. I've just played against an AI as I played, but that was a lot of fun. So 3 games of Dominion online as well. The next one is Istanbul, and again, another game that I have in person, but sometimes if I just have 20 minutes and I just want to play a quick game and don't have time to set out the whole board, I'll get on Steam. Actually, I think Istanbul I played on Steam, and I played this one 4 times, and I didn't have the expansions in my Steam version, but just played the base game and really enjoy Istanbul, one of our favorite games. Got to play that one 4 times in May. The next one is Cascadia, and I'll put the link down below. It's on a GitHub site. It's also not available in tabletop form yet. It's a Kickstarter that I backed that's coming out later this summer. One of my favorite games to play online, and one of the Kickstarters I'm excited to finally receive here in a few months. Played that one 6 times online, and I'll put the link down below in case you're interested in trying it out. It's just a solo version in the online, but it'll be multiplayer or solo in the actual board game later. The next one I played online is Ticket to Ride, and I didn't actually play the Europe version online, just played the American base game online. That's all I have, and I played that on the Epic platform. Played that one 8 times. You can play a game of Ticket to Ride in like 15 minutes on Epic, and just against an AI, and so played that one quite a bit in May and enjoy that one still as an old classic. So those are the games that I played online. 25 of my game plays online this month, which was a lot for me. Don't normally play that many online. But that was what happened in May 2021. Now let's go through the old games, the games that I've played before, the games that have been in my collection, some of them for quite some time, and talk about those. So the first here I'm going to kind of go over very quickly. You've seen these if you've watched my monthly review videos quite a bit. These are games I often play with the grandkids. Animal Upon Animal by Haba is one. It's a stacking dexterity game with these little cute wooden meeples. Kids love that one. Also play Valley of the Vikings with the grandkids almost every month. Played each of these one time. This one's another kind of dexterity game. You're rolling this ball across the board and knocking down barrels and then moving your pirates across the tracking scoring chart across the top, and when you push someone off the pier, you gain rewards. Another one we played with the grandkids, Rhino Hero Super Battle, and just again played this one time as well. It's another dexterity game by Haba where you're taking these game pieces that are kind of thin cardboard or thick cardstock, and they bend in L shapes, and some of them are flat and some of them bend in L shapes. And the L shapes are the vertical supports, and then the flat parts are the floors, and you're building this high rise with those features. And then you've got these little wooden meeples of the rhino and the elephant and other characters that are playing in the game. So I played that one with the grandkids once as well. We generally just play the base form of that, even though we have the Super Battle version. The kids are still a little bit young to understand all those other things. I like hanging the monkeys on there and such, but mostly we just play for fun and the base game version. Another couple games that I played with the actual board game, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. We did another case of this one from the Baker Street Irregulars version. We really love these Sherlock Holmes games, the solving the case, and for the first time ever, we beat Sherlock. Now, it took us a whole lot more clue steps than it did for him, but we answered every question correct. And so we were able to actually score 105 points, which means you beat Sherlock. So that was a lot of fun. First time to actually beat him. The next one we played, another one just one time this month, is Terraforming Mars. And Terraforming Mars actually is one that actually I would have to say is growing on me, which is kind of weird. But my wife loved it instantly, and it's one of her favorite games. But for me, it was just okay. But the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. And I think part of that is the first couple of games, you're learning it. We don't have any of the expansions of the Prelude, which I think sort of speeds up the beginning part of the game. But the first couple of games just seemed like it was taking more time than I wanted it to. But now that we're getting more comfortable with it, more familiar with it, the gameplays are going faster, and I'm enjoying it more and more. Just played that one time, though, here in May 2021. The next one is Dale of Merchants, and this is one that's actually on our 9x9 game. We're trying to play 9 different games 9 times in this year. So we were able to, I think this is the 4th or 5th time we played it so far this year. We have the whole collection. I don't have any idea which ones we pulled out, but we just played it one time with a varied collection. I use the online choosing function, or the choosing app online, to have it just randomly pick the characters for me. There's a lot of ways you can do that, but I like the online version because you can say if you want a lot of take that, if you want a lot of luck and randomness. And so it's a fun way to kind of pick your animal collections randomly, or not randomly, in an organized way with that app. So I'll put a link for that down below as well. So Dale of Merchants, another one that we really love a lot and got to play one time in May. The next one is After the Empire, and After the Empire is by Gray Fox Games. It's one that really growing more and more. It's becoming one of my favorite games of all time. Just an incredible game of tower defense with so many things going on: worker placement, card play, lots of just fun aspects to this game. Played this one 3 times, once with my wife and twice solo. And both she and I are really loving this game. I just had a little bit more time to be able to play it solo, but she loves it just about as much as I do. We're going to get a lot of play from this one. The solo version is not an official one yet, but if you backed the Game Found recent crowdfunding project, then you can get the solo version. You might still be able to go on and late pledge that, I'm not sure. But After the Empire, really an incredible game that we love. And then the next one that we played in May, Red Rising, the latest from Stonemaier Games. And this one is one that, again, I just, the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. Played this one 5 times, a few times solo and a few times with family. Only up to 2 players so far. I haven't played with more than 2 players, so I'm anxious to try it with more than 2. But really liking this one. It seems like the more I play it, the more I like it. I did read the books, did like the books, and so I think that factors into my enjoyment of the gameplay. But Red Rising is one that we're really loving. 5 times we were able to play that one in May. Now let's get on to the new games for May. So the first one that was new, picked this one up on a sale, I think from Miniature Market, if I'm not mistaken, a while back. And we were able to play this one for the first time, played it twice. Janelle and I did. Patchwork Express. I've played the original Patchwork online, but never have played the original board game on table game version before. And it was Janelle's first time to play it in any form, and she really enjoyed it. We played it 2 times, and it was a lot of fun. Patchwork Express by Lookout Games, another Uwe Rosenberg game. The next one that was new to us this month was Naga Raja. And this one is by Hurricane Games, and this is a Bruna Cathala game. See, he also co-designed it with Theo Riviere, and the art by Vincent Dutrait. And this one's really fun. It's these little tiles that you're placing in a cavern, basically, and you're trying to create paths to these different treasures, these artifacts that are in this cavern that you're trying to reach. But some of them are bad luck or possessed. I'm not sure what the right word. I can't remember the word they use in the game. But if you get 3 of those, you automatically lose. There's an instant lose phase in this game, or an instant lose condition in this game. And we played this one twice as well. The way you win is to get a certain number of points, because those treasures are each worth a different number of points. And I forget what the point total is, but when one player reaches that, game is automatically over, and it's an instant win condition. So you can instantly win or instantly lose. And you can also win by getting all of the spaces in your cave filled up, even if you don't get the total point total. Because sometimes your paths that you're creating end up not going to the treasures, and so you might not get the full points, but you might be able to get all 9 tiles down. So a really interesting game. We liked it a lot. You're also rolling these nice little runes instead of dice. They're there's not a good picture on the back here. I can show you the back, but there's not a really good close-up picture. They're these little nice ceramic long tiles that you roll, and they have different shapes and numbers with represented by dots on the side. So it's kind of an interesting thing to roll those runes as you're playing this one. So Naga Raja, another nice little 2-player game that we enjoyed a lot. The next one I just played solo. Played this one 3 times, and just basically creating the character for myself, and then getting through the first partway through the first book, and that is Legacy of Dragonholt by Fantasy Flight Games. This is one that it's kind of like an RPG adjacent game. You create a character, and then you start walking through like a complete your own story sort of adventure. You read, and it says, okay, you meet these people, and if you decide to go into the woods, you go to this page, and if you decide to avoid the woods, you go to this page. And so you just keep making decisions, and you build up the skills of your character as you go, and you build up the relationships between your character and others in trying to solve this mystery. You've received a letter from a person that's in distress, and you're trying to get to the city of Dragonholt to solve this mystery and hopefully help your friend. So only played it a few times, still getting into the storyline, but enjoying this one. I like it solo. My wife's not into these kind of games too much, and so I'm just playing through it, enjoying reading the story, and sort of choosing my own path through that story. So Legacy of Dragonholt, 3 times this month, really enjoying that one. The next new one was Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig by Stonemaier Games. And for this one, this is one that I received as a review copy from Stonemaier Games and played it with my wife. Only played it 2 players so far, but wanted to play it and put out a review before their Secrets and Soirees expansion came out a week or so ago. And we really enjoyed this one. In fact, we're getting ready to have our first in-person game group on June 14th, finally, where we'll actually get together in person and play games again. And we're going to teach our group Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. It's nice that you can play it up to 7 players. And we may even have the expansion by then, which will allow us to play it with up to 8. And I think we'll have 8 people that night. So hopefully we'll get that expansion in time. It's a nice tile laying game. You're putting the tiles down in certain patterns to earn victory points as you're building out the floor plan, basically, of the castle. But instead of a top-down view, it's a side view of the castle. And you can go below ground, above ground. You can do outdoor features. Really fun game, Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Played that one 3 times this month. And then the last game that we've played the most, the newest game that we've played the most, is Destinies by Lucky Duck Games. And Destinies is a bit like Seventh Continent in the way that you are laying down tiles and flipping them over to explore land. So it's kind of like Seventh Continent that way. But it's a little bit like Chronicles of Crime in that you've got these cards with QR codes to interact with different characters, to interact with different items you find. And sounds like it would be a cooperative game, but it's actually a competitive game. And I've played it 3 times solo and 2 times with my wife. So we played this one 5 times. And you're going through this adventure, and you're actually trying to accomplish your destiny, which is a certain goal for your character specifically, before the opponents accomplish their goals. You can only play it with up to 3 players, and we've just played it, like I said, solo, where you're either just going through exploration mode where you just go until you solve it, or competitive mode, challenger mode, I think is what they call it, which is nearly impossible. I did put out a review for this one as well and an unboxing, so you can check out those. I'll link them here above. But we're really enjoying this game. It's a real fun storytelling game, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So Destinies by Lucky Duck Games, another new one, played 5 times in May. So there you have it. Those are the games that we played in May. Our best new games, for me, Bantam West. And my wife wasn't able to play that one, but I loved it even more than I thought I would. So excited to see how the Kickstarter turns out in July. And then the second one, best game, and I would say my wife would choose this one as well, Destinies. Just really loving this one as the best new game of the month. And then best old games of the month, and they're not very old, but they're ones that we have played before May. And those are, probably can guess, but Red Rising, based on what I said before, really loving this one and getting quite a bit of play out of it. I didn't know that my wife would enjoy it as much because she only likes Fantasy Realms okay, and she hasn't read the books, but she actually really did enjoy this, and the other day just said, hey, we need to get that game back to the table. So I'm excited that she's enjoying that one. And then the other one, both of us also really loving After the Empire. So those are the best games that weren't new to us that we played this month that we're still really loving and enjoying getting to the table. So what were the games that you played in May? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please click on that like button down below, give it a thumbs up, and it would be great if you'd subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.